Hello everybody and welcome back to the Blossom Review. How are you today? Today we are talking about literature a little bit and I want to introduce you to these lovely little books here. The Kamogawa Food Detectives. So I'll be talking about both of them. So from now on I'll be referring to them as the Kamogawa Food Detectives series. They were both written by Kashiwai Hisashi. So this is the first book and this is the second book, The Restaurant of Lost Recipes. So, Kamogawa Food Detectives. Why do I think this is a very special little book or little books? To the Kamogawa, so to the protagonists of these books, food is not just a means of nourishment. So in everyday life, we tend to forget how special and how magical the act of eating actually is. So to the protagonists of the Kamogawa Food Detective series, food is about love, is about care, is about nostalgia. It is not just about eating, but it's about the person who made that food, how you were feeling when you ate it, where you were. So every single dish in our life, let's say, it becomes part of your identity, becomes part of your memory, and it carries a significance that we will probably, you'll never forget. So before I review these two lovely little books, let me tell you a little bit about the writer. So Kashiwai Hisashi, he was born in Kyoto, in a family of dentists actually. He started writing mystery novels under a pen name. So the Kamogawa Food Detectives is actually the first book that he wrote under his own name, if I'm not mistaken. He's also written several travel logs, travel guides. I think he's always been very keen to share his love of Japanese culture, Japanese cuisine, and I think the Japanese cities, not just Kyoto. So he wrote the Kamogawa Food Detectives in 2013 actually. And after the success of the first book, he has written another 9 books, believe it or not. So the Kamogawa Food Detectives in Japan is composed, the series is composed of 10 different novels, believe it or not. So far in English, we only have the first 2, both translated by Jesse Kirkwood. These 2, hopefully, are only the beginning of lots and lots of different books coming up. So let's hope that we will have the other 8 books translated in the near future. So, let's talk about the story. What is the Kamogawa Food Detectives about? So, the Kamogawa Food Detectives is set in Kyoto. And this is the story of Kamogawa Nagare, who used to be a detective, but he now runs a little diner with his daughter Koichi. So this restaurant is different because it not only offers really good food, usually traditional Japanese fare, but it also offers an extra service. So they have a detective agency in the back, and their mission is to recreate a dish from their customers' past. Customers go to the restaurant. It is quite difficult to find the restaurant because they only have, I think the restaurant is only advertised in one magazine with this very cryptic ad that says like, "We find your food," something like that. So it's very difficult to find the restaurant. The building from the outside is nothing remarkable, but from the inside is a place that has the warmth and the coziness of a family restaurant. So after the customers find the restaurant They eat Nagare set menu. So first time customers, they always get the set menu. And then they are interviewed by the head of the agency, Koishi, so the daughter is the head of the agency, who relays all this information to her father. And then it's up to Nagare, the father, to investigate and recreate this dish exactly the way that the customer remembers it. So it's quite easy to understand why Japan fell in love with this series and why it has 10 books. I think because all the tales of the Kamogawa diner, they are enchanting and heartwarming and very bittersweet. So whether or not you've tried the food before, because here we're talking about traditional, most of them, they are traditional Japanese dishes. Whether or not you've tried the book before, I think what you feel is that each customer comes in with a sense of nostalgia and sorrow that Nagare, by recreating the dish that they are looking for, balances out with joy and hope. So together, this entire process creates a very uplifting journey, not only to the customer, but to us, to the reader. So I think most importantly, Kashiwai, he delivers a story that is light on plot, so you don't have any sort of complex plot to guide you, but heavy on this evocative sensorial experience. The books are divided into 6 chapters, each chapter dedicated to one customer and, well, consequently, one dish. And all the chapters, they follow exactly the same structure. So the customer comes in, they have Nagare's food for the first time, they are interviewed by Koishi. Koishi quickly introduces her dad to the situation, and then the customer comes back 2 weeks later to try the recreation, and then Nagare tells them how he managed to recreate the dish. So as you can see, you have no description of Nagare's investigations, you have no description of Nagare's cooking. But I think that's where the heart of the series lies, because the Kamogawa Food Detectives is all about the experience of eating in and of itself. And I think that's where also the strength of Kashiwai's writing lies. His incredibly detailed, mesmerizing descriptions of food. So food is the real protagonist of the Kamogawa Food Detective series, because each dish symbolizes a memory, an emotion, and I think most importantly, a loss in that customer's life. So what you notice is that customer, they are looking for an answer that they used to have, but that they lost at some point throughout their life. And now that answer lies in the textures, in the smells, in the flavors of that dish they are trying to re-encounter. I think the Kamogawa Food Detectives tries to tell us that the experience of eating can be something miraculous, as if, trying a special meal can give birth to a miracle in our lives, as if every single meal of our lives is a unique instance that might never repeat itself, but that might forever offer us a moment of healing. So the Kamogawa Food Detectives is a tribute not only to this healing power of food, but also to the dedication and the love that goes into cooking. to the mysterious emotions that food can evoke, and the memories that are created with every meal. But I think not only that, Kashiwai excels when it comes to descriptions of Kyoto. So in different seasons. Kyoto, you know, you have these very short moments in which the customers make their way to the restaurant, but his descriptions are so great that Kyoto gains this sort of magical quality. But the streets and the weather, they are described in such a way that they become tangible. You see lots of people who have been to Kyoto say that it was easy for them to picture the city with those descriptions. So I think his descriptions are so great that they contribute to this sensorial experience that starts with the city but then ends with the experience of eating. But I think it's not only Kyoto. You notice that Kashiwai mentions a lot of different cities. So he mentions a lot of different cities, and I think he pays homage to a lot of different places in Japan, their food. So I think Kashiwai, you clearly see that Kashiwai's love for Japan, for Japanese cuisine, for Japanese cities, that passion is the beating heart of the Kamogawa Food Detectives, which means that if you love Japanese culture, you need to read these books, because I think it's just so clear how much he loves his country and his culture and, you know, its cuisine. So yeah, if you love Japanese culture, read these books. Now, a quick piece of advice if you haven't read the books yet. The first book, this one, the first book is adorable, incredibly mouth-watering. Like I said, Kashiwai's descriptions of food, they are just incredible. You can almost see the dish in front of you. You can almost, taste it. You can smell it. It's incredible. It really is. So the first book is adorable, incredibly mouth-watering, but I felt that the narrative was quite repetitive, and the translation sounded a little bit unnatural at times. But in the second book, so The Restaurant of Lost Recipes, you can clearly see improvement. So you see improvement in the dialogue, you see improvement in the flow of the narrative. So he gets rid of a lot of the monotonous information that we are already familiar with, that we don't need to read about again. So you see this improvement in the flow of the narrative, in the dialogue, and also in the translation. So even though they are both fantastic, I would say that this one is a little bit better than the first one, which I think is super positive, which means that probably the 10th book is absolutely flawless. But look, maybe I noticed this repetition because this book is just so easy to read, guys, and you can see so short, so easy to read, that I almost read the entire book in one sitting. So maybe that's why I noticed this repetition. But what I wanted to tell you is that don't see these books as a complete story, okay? Don't see it as one complete story. I think the Kamogawa Food Detective series is best read as a collection of short stories, so 6 short stories. I think you can even go as far as to say that you can read the chapters in any order, in whatever order you prefer, because they are not really connected to each other. So they are independent from each other. So see the Kamogawa Food Detectives as a collection of 6, all of the books, and guys, not just the first one, as a collection of 6 short stories. Because I think even the way that Kashiwai designed the book, I think the book is meant to be savored slowly, like a good meal. I think that's Kashiwai's way of telling us, give yourself some time to breathe. Savor this slowly, okay? So, the Kamogawa Food Detectives. The Kamogawa Food Detective series is a mix of Sherlock Holmes and Midnight Diner. Midnight Diner is on Netflix, so if you haven't watched it yet, make sure to check it out. But the Kamogawa Food Detectives, I think, the series celebrates the beauty and the blessing of food. It celebrates the act of eating, but also the act of cooking. Most importantly, I think it celebrates Japanese cuisine quite a bit. I think as the Kamogawas explore the nostalgia behind each of the dishes that they try to recreate, I think the story leads us to remember moments of delight and joy and nostalgia in our own lives. And it's just such a comforting read, especially now that it's getting colder over here. I don't know about where you are, but it's such a lovely book for you, you know, to just cuddle in a sofa and read a short story. So read one, take a break, do something else, come back, read another. It's just a really nice and warm place to go back to, because the stories, I think, Kashiwai's meticulous but simple prose allow us to relish not only the food itself, but the wistfulness behind them. So the Kamogawa Food Detectives, make sure to grab a copy. Black Friday is coming up. And yeah, make sure to grab a copy. And let's hope that the other 8 books are being translated into English very soon. So guys, if you want to read this review, you can find it on the Blossom Review. Yesterday we had the complete calendar of releases for both J-dramas and K-dramas, the December release calendar. Tomorrow we are talking about The Trunk, a novel that is, well, the book that the show, the new Netflix show, is based on. We also have a video here on our YouTube channel discussing The Trunk, so make sure to check it out. And well, come back next week. Next week we are talking about K-dramas again, because we have a lot of shows ending and also being released. The Trunk tomorrow in the next couple of weeks, the next couple of days. So make sure to come back next Thursday so we can discuss K-dramas together. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your week with your loved ones. And well, if you don't, just have a fantastic day, have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you very much. I hope you like and you subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.